2020 CT6 Premium Luxury, and today I'm going to show you guys why this is my favorite sedan and Cadillac of all time. So starting with the exterior of the CT6, I think this is a gorgeous looking sedan. I think this is the best looking car on the road. I love the looks of this car. Cadillac actually recently refreshed this car, the CT6, which originally came out in 2016. They refreshed it in 2019, and they added new headlights and taillights as well as some other smaller things. But I think this is a very gorgeous looking sedan now that they refreshed it. It looks very sporty and luxurious at the same time, which the previous CT6 didn't do quite as well, I thought. It wasn't quite as sporty looking, but this really sets off the car now that they have the nice headlights and taillights. So taking a look at the headlights, which Cadillac refreshed, I love the way that they look now. They look a lot more simple than they did before, but they still look very nice. I really like how the LED strip goes down, kind of is vertical like most Cadillacs are, kind of keeps that same signature style that they've had. But there's also another strip going off to the side horizontally, and I think that's what really makes this car look aggressive but sporty, and it's really makes it look like nothing else that's on the road. But what's interesting is that the taillights in the back actually mimic the front lights here. They of course have the vertical Cadillac lights, but it also has little sections of light going in towards the middle. Really sets off the car, very good look. The headlights also aren't the only things that make the car look aggressive and really luxurious. I like the curves and the different inlets that the grille has and the front of the bumper. I think it looks very interesting that Cadillac designed it this way, and I love the way it looks. So taking a look at the front of this car, you can actually see that in the grille there are Cadillac logos in the grille in a bunch of different places. I think it's really unique looking that Cadillac would do that and kind of show off that there's just a bunch of little Cadillac logos in the front. Really cool. So taking another look at the grille here, if you look at the Cadillac logo, you can see it's a normal logo like what you'd think a Cadillac logo would be. If you've seen my 2017 XTS video though, that logo was actually a sticker, and that's because the radar system was behind it, so they had to make it out of a different material so it would go through. But Cadillac was smart, and they actually decided to move that radar system down here in the bottom part of the bumper here. So it's a spot where people wouldn't really notice that there's something different there, but I kind of like that they did that because it freed up a good spot for a normal looking logo, which I like. So another quirk with the grille here, it's really hard to see, but there are actually little air deflectors inside, and those actually deflect the air away from the car to help get better fuel economy if you're on the highway. And there's a computer controlling that to try and get the best mileage possible, so it'll actually rotate back and forth to try and block air when it can. So taking a look at the front panel here, you can see there's a Cadillac logo there, but of course it's missing its color. It's kind of a silvery, shiny look, and I like that. It kind of looks different than normal logo, so kind of unique. But I like that Cadillac put this here because Cadillac has actually been putting their logo on the side of their cars for a long time now. If you even look at my 1999 Fleetwood Limited, on the side of the car and the vinyl, there's actually a Cadillac logo there. So they've kind of kept up this tradition in an interesting way. So you can see it's a Cadillac from the side, and they've done it for a long time. So taking a look at the back of the CT6, of course here are the taillights, which I absolutely love the look of, but enough of that. So we can obviously see that there's the CT6 logo here, all-wheel drive, and the number 400 over there. But I'll get to that in a minute. But Cadillac actually has only put CT6 here in the back. They haven't put that anywhere else in the car. Even if you look at the side or the front, you can only find the name CT6 in the back here, which is really interesting that Cadillac chose to do that. Now another part of the refresh that Cadillac added was this chrome strip running along the side of the trunk here, along the back of it. It actually really makes the trunk pop visually, which the previous CT6 didn't really do quite as well, I don't think. But it really sets off the trunk, and I think it makes the back of this car look unique, but also very confident. I just love the way it looks. It's very nicely done by Cadillac. Now, something really interesting about the back of the car here is that the third brake light is actually integrated just above the rear back window here. It's kind of an interesting look how thin it is, and I think it's something that most people actually don't even know it's there. But it's kind of a neat little hidden spot for a light that Cadillac chose to put it in, and I think it looks really nice. Now another feature that the car has, the CT6, it has 4 exhaust tips. I think that really shows its sporty side, kind of makes it look like it's a real interesting and fast car, and of course it sounds fantastic too. So taking a closer look at the number 400 here, Cadillac actually added that to show the torque that the car makes. This is actually not pound-feet like you might expect, like most normal cars are. Cadillac actually decided to put this in Newton meters, which is actually what electric cars signified for torque. So Cadillac is actually going to go electric during the next decade, and I guess I decided to kind of start moving over now, switching the numbers so then people won't be all confused when they switch their torque figures when electric cars come. It's an interesting decision, but I guess I can see why they did it, just so they wouldn't shock people when the electric cars finally come. So taking a look under the hood of the CT6, we can see the 3.6 liter V6 engine, and this engine produces about 335 horsepower and 284 pound-feet of torque. So it's a pretty peppy engine, but it gets the job done. It's not extremely powerful, but it's still quiet and very good for this kind of car. As well as making a decent amount of power for this car, the CT6 actually gets decent mileage for its size. It gets about 18 city and 27 highway, so pretty good healthy numbers for a big sedan, and I'm happy to see that. All right, I'm going to start up the car and show you guys the engine note that the CT6 Premium Luxury makes, with the 3.6 liter engine. So a neat quirk about the opening the hood is that when you actually pull on the latch, it says to pull it twice. There's a little 2X there. So you pull that latch twice, and then when you actually open the hood, you don't have to push any buttons to open it. You just pull up, and it just opens right up for you. Real easy, and real nice that Cadillac does that for you. Now taking a closer look at the headlights here, it actually says Cadillac on the top of it right here in the chrome. I think it's kind of a unique little quirk that Cadillac added their name there for. Who knows who would ever even see that, but it's kind of neat that they decided to put their name there just to show off a little bit of their Cadillac pizzazz. Something really nice that Cadillac has is actually something that they don't have, which is a fuel cap. Luckily they got rid of that. They don't have that, so you can make filling up your car really easy when you go to fill it up. But something else I really like about this fuel door is that it actually locks with the car, so no one can tamper with it if you have your car just sitting in the parking lot or wherever you go. Now, something I really love about this car is that it has four-wheel steering. Now, not many cars have this, but the back wheels actually turn when you turn the front wheels. And how this works is if you're going slow enough and maybe in a parking lot trying to park, the wheels will actually turn opposite to the front wheels to actually lower the turning radius of the car. However, if you're on the highway, it'll actually turn it in the same direction as the wheels, so it's kind of easier to move in between lanes without the car just jolting over or turning really far. So it's a really fantastic feature, really amazing technology from Cadillac. Now taking a look at the Cadillac key fob here for the CT6. If you've seen my XTS video, you know that I already really like this fob. It really feels nice. It has some nice rubber on it, good chrome accents, very nice design. It has some weight to it, which really makes it feel very luxurious and premium. So a very nice design. I like it a lot. It's simple to use as well. I have lock, unlock, as well as a button here to auto start your car, open the trunk, and even a panic button. And what's clever is that they have a little button here on the side to get out an actual physical key to get into the car if your fob dies. So what I really like about this key fob as well is that it has keyless entry, which is a fantastic system. It really makes getting in and out of your car easy. All you have to do is, as long as you have the key fob in your pocket, just walk up to the door, you can press the handle and unlock for you, or if you press the button again, it'll lock up again for you. So it's really easy to either get in and out of the car without having to take out your key fob. So luckily Cadillac thought about what would happen if your key fob dies. Well, what you can do is you can actually take off a section of the door handle here with your key that you removed from your key fob, and then you can put that fob inside a slot in the center console, and the car will detect it, and then you can use the push button start to start the car. Now, something really nice that Cadillac does is they have their handles light up at nighttime so you can see them easily, and you can maybe spot your car in the dark, and it makes it stand out in the dark as well. So very nice feature from Cadillac. So taking a look at the inside of the CT6, this specific model has an interesting color combination where it's kind of a tan on black interior, and I think it really sets off the inside of this car. It's absolutely beautiful. Most of the materials are very good. This is a premium luxury model though, so not every material is as good as you would get on the Platinum, but still very good for the money, and I love the way that it looks. Something else I love about this car at nighttime is that there are some really pretty lights along the inside of the car underneath the wood, and it's even in the back as well. Very nice to see that from Cadillac. Very premium look. So getting into the CT6 and sitting in the driver's seat, it is very comfortable. It has a good amount of bolstering, but it's not so much that you're uncomfortable. I still feel I can get comfortable in these seats and be able to go on long road trips. I think that's more kind of what this car is designed to be rather than too sporty. But this premium luxury model, of course, you have seat controls on the door there, as well as lumbar. However, it doesn't have the same bolstering controls that a Platinum CT6 would have. Now, one thing that I do wish that this premium luxury model had was massaging seats. That is something you can get on the platinum trim, but for the money you're spending for this car, it is a good amount. It's around $80,000 or so, depending on what kind of options you get. But I do wish it did have the massaging features and maybe some bolstering controls as well. But that's okay. This car doesn't come with that, and you can still upgrade to the platinum model to get that. Now, something that these seats do is that they actually, the headrest, it moves forwards and backwards at the push of a button, and it also moves up and down, which is quite normal standard. But I do like how it moves forward and backwards, so it's another way for me to get comfortable. So taking a closer look at the door, of course, it's very nice, has a lot of buttons on it. We have your seat controls there instead of on the side of the seat. We have memory seats as well, two-person memory, as well as an exit feature. And the passenger door even has memory seats as well, which I find very nice. Very nice that they have that. And of course, all 4 windows are automatic up and down, which is a good feature to have on a luxurious car. Really shows how Cadillac has paid attention to the nice little things that you kind of expect in a luxury car. But good wood trim, nice chrome handle, very nice materials. So taking a closer look at the steering wheel here, this is a very important part of the car because this is what the driver sees all the time and feels and touches. I find it very comfortable in my hands. It feels nice. The leather is very soft. The buttons look very nice to me. They're all easy for me to reach in whatever section I need to press. They don't really have the piano plastic that most Cadillacs have had for a while. They kind of got rid of that because people kind of complained about fingerprints and whatnot, but these still look very nice, and I think they work well. They have nice clusters as well. I like how these the buttons on the left, they're kind of more for the cruise control and Supercruise, while the buttons on the right, like the select button and up and down arrows, they control the gauge cluster and what you see. You also have a few other buttons down here, such as for skipping tracks or for safety features, turning them on and off, including a heated steering wheel. So very nicely laid out. I like the steering wheel a lot. Beautiful wood on it, nice chrome accents. It's a very pretty wheel, and I like the way it looks. Now, a quirk with the steering wheel, which you may have noticed while taking a look at the interior here, is that there's actually this black piece of plastic or glass in the top here, in the rim of it. And actually what that is for the Supercruise system that some Cadillacs have these days. And it's actually a hands-free self-driving feature. And what this does is it lets you know by colors, green, red, or blue, if the Supercruise system is working or if it's turned on or not. And there's also even a camera up here as well, which watches you to make sure you're actually looking at the road, and then you can drive hands-free with this system. And I'll show you guys this a little bit later when I take the car for a spin. So looking behind the steering wheel here, we have a couple different stalks here. The one on the right controls the rain-sensed wipers, so they'll have it in auto or low or high, or you can just leave it in auto so it actually moves on its own. And on the left, we have controls for the headlights, the adaptive headlights, which will actually turn on the high beams automatically at nighttime if there's no one in front of you, or turn them off when there is someone in front of you. So it's a really neat system. You have simple controls there for that stuff. Now, taking a look at the gauge cluster, what I really like about these is that it's a total complete screen. There aren't any actual physical gauges, which I like because that means you can actually change different sections of the screen to customize it how you like. So using the select button on the steering wheel as well as the arrows, I can move between 3 different parts of the screen to show different things such as my fuel range or my compass. I also get to see tripometers as well as a normal gauge if I'd like, and my gap distance for the cruise control and speed limit, stuff like that. And in the middle, I can also change what I see there as well, between just a normal needle, where I can see night vision, of course, which this car has. Very nice safety feature. And I can look at my mile per hour and speed limits, so very nice. On the right, I can see a lot of similar stuff as far as my Bluetooth or my navigation, as well as music, and normal needles if I'd like, or options, stuff like that. Very nice stuff by Cadillac. Now, another great feature that this car has at nighttime is night vision. There's actually a night vision camera in front of the car, so you can actually see animals or things in the road at nighttime, which you may not be able to see normally. So I think that's such a cool feature for them to have that. Easy to see stuff at nighttime. Now, something that's really nice about this car is that when I start the engine, of course, you get a nice little gauge display there, and if you could tell, the wheel and the seat moved automatically to my position, which is really nice. And then when I turn off the car and get out, the wheel and seat automatically move to my exit position, so I can easily get out of the car from that. So the CT6 has a heads-up display, and they have actually buttons here to control them On the side you have a different button where you can adjust the height of it or the brightness, and you also have an info button there which you can scroll through different things such as a compass or your RPMs or your Bluetooth or navigation. A lot of different stuff you can see up on your windshield so you don't have to look down at your gauges. It's a very good safety feature. So a really unique feature that this car has is actually a rear view camera mirror. Now to activate this, there's a little tab on the bottom of the mirror and you kind of pull that towards yourself and it'll move the mirror a little bit and turn on the camera. And then you have a bunch of other buttons on the side beside that. You have a button to kind of scroll through and you can adjust your brightness, you can adjust the zoom that the camera has, and you can also adjust the tilt. It's really an interesting feature. I can see why they have it, just so you don't have anything blocking, the back of you. Maybe if you have kids in the back or people in the back, it might be hard to see with the regular camera. So with that attached or turned on, you can actually see much behind you much more easily. And the nice thing is that the camera is really high definition, so it's really not hard to tell what you're looking at, or if you zoom in, you can still tell what you're looking at. But although your eyes do kind of have to adjust to it when looking at it, it's a strange feeling, but I think you can get used to that. But a very good safety feature that Cadillac has. So for the infotainment system here, Cadillac has a real big 10-inch screen, which I really like. It really is easy to see stuff on it, and especially directions if you need to. Very nicely done. I'm glad they have a big screen. But there's a lot of different ways to control this thing. Cadillac added these different buttons and levers here too, which was new for the refresh of the CT6. Of course, you have a volume knob, which a lot of people were very happy about, and I'm happy about it too. It makes changing the volume a lot easier than just using the slider. And you have, of course, controls for music and maybe your different navigation stuff as well, and cell phone. Very nice to use and very simple to understand. So this CT6 comes with Cadillac's newest version of Q. I actually really like it. The screen here is incredibly responsive. It's almost like I'm just using a tablet like normal. It's amazing how well it works. But it comes with a lot of nice features, of course, with your weather and navigation. You have a lot of different apps you can actually download, different news sources, whatnot, but very nice queue system. Everything works very well. The maps even seem to be extremely responsive and easy to use. I love it, especially it's easy to use with these new buttons and stuff here on the center console. Very nice system. I think it's very well improved over the original queue system that Cadillac released. Now, a really nice feature with the CT6 is that there are a lot of camera angles to choose from. I mean, there are just so many. You, of course, have your normal top-down, and you can see, of course, behind you, but there are many more other than that. You can, of course, see your front bumpers, see how close you are to a curb or something, and you can see a little bit higher than that. You've got a bunch of different views here. It's just amazing the different stuff that Cadillac has added to this car to make it easier to park or move. Very smart for them to do that. I love the way it looks. And another feature that Cadillac has added with their cameras is they have different guidelines here on the side of the car. Besides the normal backup camera with the guidelines, you also have one on the side here, which will show where the front of your car will go when you start to turn in a certain direction. It's amazing the kind of stuff that Cadillac has added to this car to add the different camera views and stuff. So taking a look around the 10-inch screen here, we actually have some different buttons and features we can look for here. There are actually several parking features where the car will park itself on the left. You can see there's a P as well as some lines and some areas there. So that's for either parallel parking or other types of parking situations you may have to look for a spot and actually parking it yourself. But on the right, you see there's a little button that says glove box. Well, this car actually doesn't have a normal lever on the glove box. For whatever reason, Cadillac figured that it'd be just more luxurious to have an actual button so it opens up. But all you have to do is press that glove box button and the glove box opens to you, but you do have to close it yourself, unfortunately. So to show you the gear selector here, it's a very interesting design. This is one of the updates that Cadillac brought with the 2019 CT6, and it's here on the 2020 CT6 as well. It's kind of like a BMW style shifter. It's very interesting. It has a button on the side, and of course you can pull it back all the way to go to drive, or maybe another space forward for neutral, or all the way forward for reverse. But to put it in park, all you have to do is press this little button on top, and that'll put it in park for you. It's a very interesting system. It's took me a little bit of getting used to, but it's easy to use once I got used to it. So, taking a look in front of the gear selector here, we actually have controls for your climate in the front of the car. You have, of course, buttons to adjust your temperature, or you can even have press buttons in the black plastic here for your heated seats, or to control different stuff like the rear defroster or front defroster. It's a very nice layout of buttons there, easy to use, and I like the way that it looks. Something that's really nice about the CT6 is that you have different driving modes to choose from. You have a mode button here which you can press in front of your gear selector. You can choose between tour or track or snow and ice. So it's a good way to have a maybe safer driving if you have bad weather, or just to be more spirited. The car will know that. As well, you have a auto hold feature here, which you can press that button here, and that'll actually hold your car automatically at like a stoplight, so you don't have to keep your foot on the brake. It's very nice that Cadillac added that touch. A little bit less work for the driver to have to do. So as far as storage goes, Cadillac has a lot of different places for you to put stuff. You of course have a center console where it's pretty deep. You have a good amount of space, but you can even plug in your phone in there if you wanted to and keep that in there, or you can have it go through this hole in the front where you can have a cubby for your phone and you can charge at the same time while using Apple CarPlay, wherever you'd like. But there's also good space in the doors, in the front doors here. It's very deep, good enough space for umbrellas and other things you may need. We also have cup holders in front of the center console here, and of course a fairly large glove box. So taking a closer look at the center console, we can actually see that it's double hinged. It opens up either towards the driver or towards the passenger. I think this is a really smart idea for Cadillac to make it easy for either the person on the right side of the car or the left to open it up and get inside. So looking up top here behind the mirror, we have a good amount of buttons here, but it's pretty simple to understand. Most of them here are for either sliding or tilting the sunroof, or you can even adjust the different visors that go across the sunroof to help block the sunlight. And you have a garage home link buttons as well, and lights. So pretty simple to understand, and not too much stuff, but it's a good design by Cadillac. So possibly my favorite feature of the CT6, and it's a little bit of a quirk too, is the Panorama system. This is a fantastic sounding sound system from Bose. It's an option on the CT6. You can have a total of 34 speakers inside the car. So it's a real true surround system that's fantastic. I love the way that it sounds. But my favorite thing about the Panorama system, one of my favorite things, is that when you start up the car, there's a speaker that just rises right out of the dashboard. It's so luxurious and premium looking, so neat. That's one of my favorite quirks about this car. Some unexpected touches that I love to see from Cadillac. But the Panorama system is fantastic, sounds very good. It's impressive that Cadillac has a total of 34 speakers in this car. So now, getting into the back seat, I can tell this is really where you want to be. This is just a very, very nice seat. Cadillac has paid a lot of attention to the people in the back here. But of course the materials are just as nice as they are on the front. Good wood, nice different chrome handles as well. Leather, of course, everywhere. And on the side of the door here, we'll take a look at it. I have several buttons here for heated seats. The platinum version of the CT6 comes with cooled seats in the back as well, but this does not have it. But we do have some buttons here for the rear sunshade, as well as the cover for the sunroof here for me. And they also have different vents, like normally, kind of like you'd expect, but I am surprised there are actually vents in the ceiling too, which is actually nice. So you can have air blowing on your face and stuff. And you can, of course, adjust your climate control. You have 4-zone climate control in this car. So I can adjust my side of the car here with the buttons up here, as well as temperature and where the air is blowing. And I also have nice sunshades here on the side, but unfortunately it is manual, but that's okay. I still like having it. You can kind of clip it up there. And then looking here into my left on the little center console here, of course have a button here to press for some cup holders, which come out and pop out. They're very nice. And inside here I have some storage, but also a little quirk here. There's a button you can push here that actually lifts up the remote for the 2 screens in the back, so you can actually grab it really easily and take it out and use it. So very nice stuff back here. Cadillac has made it real nice for the people in the back seat. So on the back seat, Cadillac, of course, has 2 screens for each person in the back here, and I like how they kind of hide in the seats when you're not using them, so it just doesn't look like they're out of place when they're up. But you can put them back down if you want. But Cadillac has given us this remote here to control them, and of course you have a power button, a home button, and a home screen, and enter buttons. But really easy to understand, kind of like a remote you'd normally have in maybe your own home. But something unique is at the bottom here, there's a switch with a weird little square on it. You can push that to the left to control the left screen, or the right to control the right. And then when you do that, you can control whatever screen you're in, and then you press the power button, and the screen kind of lifts up out of the seat for you, and then it tilts back. You can adjust the tilt of the screen even automatically. You can kind of go into the home button, and then you can go back to screen tilt. Very, very impressive stuff. You can even view the screen in the front as well. Say if you have your navigation up, you can go from this screen to the front and you can mirror it, so you can see maybe what directions you're going through if you have a driver in the front. So very impressive technology here. And of course you have some HDMI and USB ports here on the side of the seat, which is an interesting spot, but you can connect your phone through that, and you can actually maybe watch a little YouTube video or something on the screens in the back here. So very, very nice. The one thing that is missing in this car, in the back seats, which I am impressed by on a CT6, is that the Platinum version has seats that actually adjust in the back. So you have buttons here in the center console. This premium luxury model does not come with that, but you can get reclining and adjusting seats in the Platinum. Besides the outlets in the middle of the back seat, Cadillac has also added a 12-volt outlet over here on the side, as well as another USB type C and a normal USB port as well. So Cadillac has also given those in the back seat nice headphones here, which you can actually listen to on your own in the back if you don't want to bother the driver by having like your movie playing throughout the whole car. You can put these on. They're really comfortable. They have nice buttons on them. You can change the volume, of course, and maybe listen to the radio if you'd like. Very nice that Cadillac added that to give the back seat passengers some real nice infotainment stuff that they can do during road trips. All right, so now we're gonna take a look at the trunk here. You have a button there to open it up. And it comes with about 15.8 cubic feet of space, which is pretty good. It's a deeper trunk, so you have enough room to maybe put in a few suitcases or whatever you have for trips, a good amount of space. And you have a tab here to actually open up, and you can actually get to a spare tire, which is nice to see, instead of just a fix-a-flat kit. Very nice to have that. You also have a couple lights to see in there, as well as some hooks to maybe tie down stuff. Very good amount of space, but my favorite thing, the trunk closes on its own. I love that this actually has a power trunk, so it has just the full thing, so it's wonderful to see that. Now what's really smart on Cadillac's part, my favorite quirk about the trunk, is that there's actually a sensor on the back here, where if you kick underneath it, it'll actually open the trunk up and you'll actually get stuff in. So if you have your hands full, can't press the button, you just have to kick underneath the trunk where there's a sensor and it'll notice it, and you can also do that to close it as well. But the coolest thing is at nighttime, it actually displays a Cadillac emblem on the ground where to kick, so it's easy to see. Very cool attention to detail, and I'm glad that Cadillac has that. All right, so I'm driving the 2020 CT6, and soon I'll get on the highway to show you Supercruise, which is what I'm most excited about. I haven't done that before, but getting a feel for just driving it normally, it's a very comfortable car. It's smooth. It's definitely not harsh like a V or a V Sport would be. So it's kind of more for, I'd say, highway cruising or just for everyday normal driving, but you can still be sporty if it has to. I have metal paddle shifters, which I like, and of course you can put it into sport mode, so you can use that stuff. It's still a very solid car, so it still feels good going around corners, which I do like. So it has a good luxurious side to it, but also a sporty side too, which I like. And of course the seats, they're actually very comfortable, even though I don't have massaging seats in this car. It still vibrates, say if I go over the center line, or if there's a person in front of me or behind me, it'll vibrate and tell me there's someone there to watch where I'm going. So good safety features. And as far as visibility goes, I can see everything quite well. I do like the design of the mirrors as well, especially the side mirrors. They look chunky, but they're also big enough for me to see pretty well around myself. And of course the camera mirror, it does take some getting used to, but with all the adjustability you can do with it, I think it just takes time to get used to actually looking at a screen rather than a mirror. But overall, a very comfortable car just for driving around normally. I do like how it feels. Even with the four-wheel steering, it really makes it seem like a smaller car than it actually is. So you kind of get the size, but also maybe the little bit of sportiness that you might want, or luxuriousness. So very nicely done by Cadillac. So another really neat feature that the CT6 has is it has a seatbelt pretensioner here. So when you get going, it gives you a little tug, so it makes sure that your seatbelt is tight. So this car has adaptive cruise control too, which is really nice. I showed you guys the radar system in front of the car before, but really easy to use. All I have to do is press my set button here, then I can set my cruise control system to whatever speed I want. It'll automatically slow down or speed up according to cars in front of me. But it's easy to see that it's engaged either on my gauges or on the heads-up display. It turns green there, and of course I can adjust it either by 1 mile per hour or even by 5 too, by pushing the button a little bit harder. So really smart by Cadillac to be able to do that, and the system works fantastically, so I like it a lot. And another great safety feature is that it has lane keep assist. I was kind of disappointed that if you've seen my XTS video, that the XTS did not have lane keep assist. It had only warning, so in other words, it wouldn't turn the wheel. But here, if I go over to the line, it'll actually turn it a little bit and kind of keep me on the road. So very smart of Cadillac to have that. So this car also has a side blind zone alert, and that's just a little system, and it has a radar sensors on the side of the car to know when a car is coming up beside you in a lane. It'll actually light up a little light on the mirror, which will tell me that there's a car there and not to turn. So to help save on fuel economy, this car also has auto stop start. So what that'll do is if you come up to a stop sign or a stop light, it'll automatically shut off the engine to help save gas and then start again when you put your foot off the brake. But that can be a little bit annoying to some people. So luckily there is a button to turn it off on the right beside the screen here, and you just press that and it turns it off. However, you do have to do that every single time you start the car, which can be a little annoying, but it is a good way to save on fuel. Alright, so I'm going to demonstrate Supercruise for you guys, and I have never used it before, so this is going to be my first time as well, so we're going to experience this together. But right now, a gray steering wheel icon has come up onto the gauge cluster here, and that'll tell me that it's actually ready to be used. So I can actually press this button here, which will engage it, and I can take my hands off the wheel. And the bar turned green here, so that tells me that Supercruise is working. But what Cadillac has done is they actually hired a company to go around with CT6s, I believe, and sensor. I guess they used LiDAR is what it's called, which is a, I guess, accurate radar system, which this car can detect it. It's a really interesting system how they used it, but it can actually know where the car is, so they had to scan thousands of miles of freeway to be able to use this system. And sorry, this is just so cool. But so the CT6 can stay in the lane without you having to keep your hands on the steering wheel. So right now with my cruise control set, all I have to do is just sit here as if I'm a passenger. So this is really cool. This is so amazing. It's kind of scary almost, not having to hold the steering wheel, but that is just incredible. I mean, feasibly, as long as you don't have to make any stops, I could almost just stay on the highway and go until it ends. Or unless if I come up to a construction zone, the system will automatically turn off, or it'll even, say if you fall asleep, hopefully you wouldn't, but say if you fall asleep with the system, it'll know. It'll actually stop the car, turn on the hazards, and call OnStar for you. And by the way, you do need to have OnStar for the system to work, so then you'll be able to make a phone call, and it'll call someone and get you help. But there is a camera here that watches my eyes. Even if I have sunglasses on, it has a special camera that can still see me. It'll actually look at my eyes, make sure I'm looking at the road. It's just such a cool experience and amazing technology that Cadillac has this. I can't believe it. And we went around a little turn back there as well, and it just kept me right in the lane. It's amazing how it's keeping me centered and turning the wheel when I don't need to. So it's a really incredible feature. I'm just amazed by it. Yes, that's so strange. It's almost like when you're on the road, and sometimes it's just kind of fun to take your hands off the steering wheel for a second. But this is really just unreal almost. I mean, it's amazing that Cadillac has this system where you can take your hands off the steering wheel. It's absolutely incredible. All right, so to change lanes with Supercruise, you actually have to do this kind of yourself. You have to turn on the turn signal, then you have to turn the wheel into the other lane. As you can see, the light turned blue. That means it's disengaging, but it's still ready to use. Then once you're in another lane, turn off the turn signal and center yourself, and turn green again, and it'll start. And the camera is so accurate that even if I was to turn my head away, it would still be able to tell that my eyes aren't looking at it, so it'll turn off the system and blink at me. You know, I guess if just for the sake of science, I'll close my eyes and we'll see if the system flashes or not. And it should probably buzz my seat and also make a noise that the system is de-engaging. Yep, there we go. Now it's flashing red at me, so it's telling me I need to take action. So I took the wheel, now turn off the system. So it's amazing that it knows. Now if I press that button again, turn right back on, the steering wheel's green again. So now I can go ahead and use the system. So absolutely incredible. While driving the CT6 at night, when you go around a corner and when you turn the wheel, there's actually a cornering light that turns on in the headlight assembly to show you exactly what you're turning into. So very interesting that Cadillac has that kind of a light hidden in the headlights to show you where you're going when you turn. Now also while driving at night, the rear camera mirror is actually still pretty easy to see. You can also adjust the brightness of it to make it dimmer or brighter if you need to, but it's still easy to see like a normal mirror in the back if there's something behind you, so I'm happy with that. And I'm also pleased that Supercruise still works at nighttime as well. Even if you're wearing sunglasses as well, it can still track your eyes and turn on or off the system. So it's nice that you can use Supercruise at any time of the day, even if it's sunny or if it's dark out. So the CT6 is my absolute favorite car. I just love the styling of it. I love the features that it has. It just seems like it's really incredible how many different things it can do as far as safety and convenience. It's an incredible car, and I just love everything about it. It makes me really sad that Cadillac could be discontinuing this car soon. And I hope that that's not the case, because this is a fantastic vehicle. It's just amazing the kind of features it has. Supercruise is incredible. You can go hands-free on the highway. I mean, that's just revolutionary to me. I think that this car is really fantastic, and it's just unfortunately overlooked by so many people. And I wish that more would take this kind of a car into consideration, because it's Cadillac's biggest sedan, and it has so many features to offer for people, and I think it's just incredible, and that's why it's my favorite car. There's nothing else on the road like it to me, and I absolutely love it. A special thanks goes out to Tim Smith for letting me borrow his brand new and beautiful CT6. And thank you all for watching my video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and come back again for more car reviews coming soon. Thank you.